are back for another video. This time it is spring. That is a super fast preview. So I started with Madam Glam's Easter egg box, and that was new to me. Madam Glam, I had never ordered from them. I was very excited when I got the colors. They are very intense, even though they're very soft and all pastels, but the color pigment itself is really intense. When I went to coat the nails, I could do it in just about one coat, which was amazing. You'll see on the palette I am putting out some, these are actually from Amazon. They are gel paints, but they're glow-in-the-dark gel paint, which I thought was so much fun because they were glow-in-the-dark and they're pastel. So I did link all of the information in the description, so if you want to know about any of the products that I'm using, you can definitely check that out. I am going to start with a hand-painted swirl. Some of these are going to be in matte and some of them are going to be in gloss because matte is still really popular right now. I am not a huge matte fan, however, I did really love this set in matte. So I had seen another nail artist do some work. That was how I ended up picking up this collection from Madam Glam, which I did link in the description. And she did some in matte as well, and I was really impressed with how the colors stayed so saturated. The color I'm working on right now, I believe, is Pinkalicious, which doesn't look as pink in this video as it does in life, but it is, again, still a nice soft pink. So you can see that I am doing some swirls. I'm doing this all by hand, and actually I did this set literally in the moment, so it was a one-shot deal. I painted, and I started my video camera, and I was just like, you know, we're gonna go with it and see where it goes. One of the other ones that I love in this collection, which is actually one of the reasons I bought it, is the speckled one I'm holding on to right now. So this speckled polish has a whole bunch of little tiny little specks that are a variety of different colors, and they're beautiful. The paint I'm working with right now is a Maniology Frost. It's called Frostbite, I believe. I know I showed it a second ago, and I did link it in the description as well. And what I'm doing is just creating some little daisies here. I did consider doing them in white, but because this nail was going to be matte anyway, I wanted something that had, oh actually no, this one is going to be in gloss. I'm sorry, it is going to be in gloss later. But I wanted something with a little bit of shine on top of it just to add a little pizzazz to it without using glitter per se. So I'm going to switch back and forth because I did cure this other nail. So you'll see me switch back and forth between these two nails for a couple of minutes. So this one is getting a little treatment with some yellow polka dots. I'm loving polka dots right now. Polka dots are just really thrilling to me right now. I don't know why. I'm not usually a polka dot person, but I am for this video and for spring and, you know, for all intents and purposes. I decided to add a couple of flowers as well to balance it out on the sides of the nail, so they're kind of a half flower on each side. And then I'm just going in with a variety of pastel colors. This nail was a lot of fun. It's actually one of my favorite ones in this collection. And again, it was just completely random. I was just creating as I went. And I figured, well, we're going to go with it and just see where it goes. The good thing about footage is if you decide you don't want it in there or it didn't work out, you can always just edit it later. Back to the original nail. This, I believe, is Greenhouse that I'm mixing. And I'm just doing some detail work to those flowers that I did a minute ago, which I'm then deciding to get more detailed with in a minute. But we start with that. I will in a few minutes add some polka dots again to give it a little bit of forward. So because of this nail is so layered, you have like those pieces underneath, and then you have the silvery white flowers. I wanted to add some more color on the top so it didn't all just kind of meld together because I felt like it was a really soft nail. So I just mixed a little bit of that. I think it's Celestine is the name of it. That is another Maniology stamping paint, and I mixed it with the Frostbite to give it a little shimmer. And what I'm doing is just adding a little more details to those white flowers because I felt like they sort of disappeared into the nail itself. So I wanted to give them a little bit more texture. I just grabbed out my rhinestones. These are the teeny tiny ones. You need to get them at a nail supply house. They don't carry these at the craft store typically that I've seen. I don't remember what millimeter they are. Might be 3 millimeter, but I could be lying. And then I just added those to the center of a couple of those flowers. And then I'm going to go in with a gloss top coat. Typically, I use the C&D Express 5. I really love that top coat. I use a lot of C&D products, which for those of you that may not know, that's Creative Nail Design. They've been around forever. I've used their products probably, I feel like, forever. This is that other nail again, and I just had cured it for 60 seconds, and now I'm giving it a coat of the matte to finish it off. Still, I'm telling you, that's like one of my favorite nails in this collection. I have a few. I got really creative. I ended up just going bananas with the spraying, which was needed. It was needed. We currently have still a couple of feet of snow from the snowstorm the other day, but this is one of my favorite spring plates. I can't honestly tell you where I got this one because I'm not 100% sure. I did, though, put the name of the plate up so that if you wanted to try checking that out on the web, you could. It's two-sided, so there are etchings on both sides. I love plates that have etchings on both sides, so I feel like I get the most for my money when I do that. I'm picking up a small butterfly stamp, just in case you can't quite see it. I know it's very tiny. One of the things I love about this plate is it has so many different varieties and sizes, and there are layers, too, so you can create really an endless amount of looks out of this plate. And on the back side, I'll use the back side later. It does have some more formal stamping where it's just like the squares that have it. What I'm doing right now is mixing teal and white to get a blended or a faded or an ombre stamp for the top corner. And there you go. I wanted to give it just a little something extra. So I'll put that in the light to cure as well. You can see that one has dragonflies on it too. I love that all spring and summer. I use that plate for a lot of different things. So now I'm going to pick up a 3. It's 3 little butterflies in a row, and this is a layered stamp. So this one's going to go on white first. I'm going to do, as I've said before, my really handy and professional job using my finger to clean up the stamp. And then I just popped it on the nail. So I'll clean my stamper off real quick, my stamp plate. I clean my stamper off too every time. It's just you're not seeing that in the footage. So I do that with a piece of tape. Tape works best for that kind of thing. You can see I just picked up the overlay. And I'm going to stamp that over. And so it creates that white background with that overlay on top, which works really well when you want to do multiple tones without doing as much work as far as painting the back half of the stamp and then coming back in. I'm going to do the same thing with a teal color here. Right over the white. And the last one I'm going to end up hand painting in because I decided I had originally stamped it. I took that part of the footage out because it didn't work well. I didn't like it. So I went back in and redid that particular butterfly with a hand paint. So I'm using my liner brush and just a little tiny bit of black paint, I believe it is, or it might be dark purple that I'm using here in just a second. And you'll get to see me paint how you could hand paint over a stamp like that as well. It worked out well because I could actually show you that piece also if you decided you wanted to use the background but you wanted to do your own hand painting for a butterfly. So I just added some detail here. And I'm going to add its little body. The next thing I decided to do with this particular nail is add a little bit of flaky because I wanted some glitter on the sides of the nail, but I didn't really want the same old, sparkle all over glittered look for this. I really wanted the butterflies to stand out and be their own entity aside from the glitter. So I went in, I have Born Pretty out. You can't quite see it on the shot, but it's the Born Pretty, I can't talk, Mylar Fine Flakies. So if you're looking for those, they're the iridescent flakies. They have kind of a pinky green iridescence to them. And I'm just using my silicone tool to pick it up. Those I got at Hobby Lobby, if anybody's wondering. So those silicone pieces, they're art tools. They're for painting and that sort of thing. They are very fine, so they work really well for nail art, especially when you're picking up flakies or some of the rhinestones or other little things. They also work really well for brandishing in glitter in tough places or small areas. Again, just top coating. This one ends up being a gloss at the end. So that is a glossy top I'm putting on it. The next nail that I have for you is coming up any second now. There we go. So this one I ombre down vertically. So this is the Madam Glam again. It is the peachy color, the purple and the green. And I ombreed it down so it had sort of this rainbow sherbet thing going, which I was completely in love with. And I thought it'd be a great background for this very fun design I have going. So what I am going to be doing is crystalling the entire nail in a rainbow format, and I did get these particular crystals at Hobby Lobby as well. I am going to fast forward because this took a significant amount of time, but I'll tell you about it. It's probably the longest, so most of these only took 3 to 5 minutes to complete. This particular one took me much longer, so if you're doing it on a client, you would definitely want to make sure that you have extra time booked out in your book in order to be able to do this well. It's kind of my version of a take on sugaring, except it's rhinestoning. So I do rhinestone this entire nail in rainbow all the way down. It comes out amazing, which you'll see in a couple of minutes when it flashes forward. But I did do a row to 2 rows of each color. Again, depending on the size nail you have, really depends on how many rhinestones you're going to put in. And what I did is I started with a coat of the gel top coat, and that's what I'm putting that into, is gel top coat uncured. So gel top coat first, then I line up all the rhinestones. You do have to kind of finagle and mess with them a little bit, as you can see me doing, as you're going down the rows, because they are loose in that medium because it's not cured yet. So I've gotten to the end and I'm just tucking everything in. You don't want anything to lean over the edge of the nail because what will happen is your client will bump it and take it out and they'll be missing rhinestones pretty quickly. If I had been doing this on a client, I definitely would have used a gel fixer, like a gemstone fixer for nails. But I'm not doing it on a client, so I just did it in the top coat and left it as is. If I was doing it on a client and I was doing it without a gel fixer, I would definitely go in and reapply top coat in between so that they didn't catch their nails all the time. This one is a real quick, easy, super fast. So it is a pink base, and then I went in and I stamped it. That's the reverse side of that plate I was talking about earlier. So it's, same plate again. It's just the other side of it. It's on both sides it's etched. So that was another favorite of mine. Super simple. That one is going to be matte when we're done. And I'm going to do the same thing again with a different design. This one is a corner design. And what I did was I flipped the design so that I used it on both sides. I almost was going to use this as a negative space nail, but then I just wanted to see what would happen, to be honest. So I did. And what I did was I joined them together. You'll see it in a second. And it makes this fantastic design where they connect. And it looks like it was a full plate, even though it's not. That one is also going to be a matte finish at the end. That was the rhinestone one coming out. And now we're working on a peach nail. So this is going to be another hand painting nail. Again, with going back to kind of my theme for this set, which was really around polka dots and swirls and flowers and, you know, all things spring, butterflies. I am actually writing the word spring on this nail because it reminded me of an Easter egg. It was really about the fact that I felt like it was an Easter egg nail. So, an Easter egg it became. I'll add the same swirls at the top. This time I'm using my one of my dotting tools, but it has a very fine point as opposed to a dauber on the end. So instead of having that ball on the end, it's just a very fine tip. And I find that really helpful, especially if I'm doing any kind of word work in gel. It works really well. How about that? It works, works, works. I don't know if I could have fit that word in one more time. It's late in the day. It's late in the day. But I finally got it edited, and I'm determined to get it out there because I'm all about spring. I want to bring spring on. I'm adding some polka dots right now in all different colors. So I'm just randomly picking up different colors and adding them in. It kind of reminded me of those strips of candy you used to get. I think we called them buttons. And they had all different color sugar dots, essentially, is what they were. That's kind of what this reminded me of when I was done. So, there you go. Candy and spring. I guess it's the thing. This nail is another sort of ombre-ish nail. I just kind of crazy splotted different colors of the Madam Glam together and let them run together. And then I went in and just stamped on. It's got a little foliage at the bottom, and then I'm going to do a double stamp again at the top. This is a different plate. This one is a jelly stamper plate. I loved the way this one came out too. This was another random, let's see what we can do with it. So it's got a little foliage with the butterfly coming in to kind of land on that foliage. And then at the top, we're going to put the word fly. Fly free. There you go. This one is super cute. This is going to be a gloss finish. A lot of my double colored nails, I tend to go with glossy because I feel like it pulls out those underlying colors a little more. But it doesn't mean you have to. You could certainly do them in matte as well. This one reminds me of Sherbert, this nail that just went off screen, so you can't quite see it yet. It was another one where I was just kind of playing with the colors. It's a jelly stamper as well. That was super fast. I'm trying to keep this video within, like a limit. I feel like I won't bore you guys to death. So this is actually a Christmas plate, but it has some really great swirls on it. And snowflakes for anybody who remembers my last video, when we had 2 feet of snow and I decided to do a winter video even though it's spring. Yeah. It was kind of I was being kind of facetious there. So this time I've got my yellow from, I don't know exactly which yellow this is. I apologize. But it is from Maniology. I do love their stamping paints, and I have a lot of them. And so I've put in the vine or the swirl that I think looks like a vine. And now I'm just hand painting some little yellow daisies on. And then I'm going to go back and put a couple of white daisies as well. But first, we're going to go in and just touch up that vine a little bit. I didn't feel like it had quite enough intensity in the green. Got a little bit lost with the yellow flowers, so I just went back and touched it up. The liners I'm using I got on Amazon, and I like them a lot, actually. Sometimes I don't know what I'm going to get with Amazon, but I like them a lot. I think I had seen them on someone else's video, and I thought, those are really fine. So I wanted to try them. So I'm just putting some white flowers on, some white daisies in the corners. Again, just kind of balancing out the space. There we go. I've got out the pink right now. I think it's chrysanthemum. I could be wrong about that. And I'm just going to go in and again, add a little bit of color. I like to layer my colors because it makes if you do the back first and then fill it in with a little color on top, what it does is it almost creates an outline for your flowers without having to do a lot of extra work. And I'm just adding a couple little buds to the edges of the vine. We won't be adding any rhinestones or anything to this one. I left this one just pretty much as it was. And then just a quick touch up again. That's the C&D again, the glossy Take 5 gel top coat. And I was very generous with that, as you could tell. You have to be very careful when you are applying any kind of top coat like that, just to make sure it's smooth. Oh, there's my nail I was talking about that I said reminded me of sherbet. This one, I'm using my silicone tool again. I have one of my mermaid powders out right now. What I'm doing is just burnishing in. I wanted it to have a bit of a shine to it without being shiny, if that makes sense. So this, you can see it just gives it that little bit of a cast where it almost looks shimmery without actually being a heavy shine. And I'm just going to go in and top coat that just to seal that first before I start doing the art on top of it. And that is it when it comes back out. And I don't remember what we did to this nail, so I'm going to have to wait. Oh, yes, I do. I was going to say, I'm going to have to wait with the rest of you to see what happens next. So this is a Kelli Marissa plate that I have out right now. It is from Maniology. I love her collabs often, and I like her plates, and I like her. So yay. So this is going to be, I think this is a Moyou London that I use. Oh, no, it's a Maniology. I lied. It's Maniology. And I'm going to stamp out some clouds. And those are going to go right on top. I did put that right into the sticky coat of the gel. I didn't wipe anything off. And then I'm just going to go in and top coat one more time, which makes those clouds just pop. And there we go. That is our full set for today. That is everybody. I hope you had fun with me. It was really fun to make this set. It was nice to do something other than winter. And I will be putting out some Easter maybe next, and some other things in the future. I'm going to do hopefully another video of just nail sets that I've been doing recently. And I hope you have a great spring. See you soon.